Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Bava Kamma, Parak Vav, Chapter Vav, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Gates sheyatza mitachas hapatish v'hizik chayav. Gates is a spark, or in case you don't know what I'm saying, a spack. Okay?
Spark.
A spark.
Spark, yes.
A
Yeah.
little bits of the fire.
Spark. Yeah. Sheyatza mitachas hapatish that flew out from under a hammer. Meaning the blacksmith was banging his hammer on a hot piece of metal in order to shape it, and a spark flew outside and caused damage. So, for instance, it flew into the street and burned a bundle of flax that someone was carrying there. So, gates shiatz mitachas hapatish v'hizik, a spark that went out from under a hammer and damaged chayev. The blacksmith has obligated to pay. He has to make sure that the weight that he distances his, he's banging his hammer on that hot metal far away enough from any kind of opening that it shouldn't fly out into the public area and damage. That's the first halacha. Next, gamal shayatoyin pishtan. You had a camel, and it was laden with flax. V'arav rishos harabim, and it's now passing through the public domain, which is something that is normal for a camel to do. Now, what happened is, though, because of the fact that there was so much on it, and there was so much flax like sticking out from the sides, what happened was, v'nichnas pishtain l'sei chachanus. Because of that, the flax entered into somebody's store. The dol kabanei shel chavani caught fire on the candle of the storekeeper. The hidlik asabira, and then at the end, it burned down a big house. So that's the story. Passing the camel is laden with flax, but laden with flax so much that the flax, as the camel passes by a store, the flax goes inside the store, catches fire on his candle. Now you got this burning flax. The camel then continues on his way next to a house and burns down the house. So what's the halacha here? The halacha is Baal Hagamal Chayev. The owner of the camel is liable. The owner of the camel is liable because, number one, he went ahead and he loaded his animal with too much flax. He shouldn't have loaded it in a way that the flax is sticking out that would go inside someone else's store, someone else's shop. Now, the meaning here in the notes, something interesting to consider. As they say, it was common for animals loaded with materials like flax to walk down the street. Thus, the camel carrying the fire to the house is like a normal wind blowing a fire to someone's field, in which case the person who lit the fire must pay for any damage it does there. Meaning, guys, we've been learning a eish yachaya for the eish that you make in your rishus, because if it lands up being carried away by a normal wind and goes into someone else's domain and burns, you're liable. If the only way that the fire would have gotten into the other domain is with an unusual wind, you wouldn't be liable. So here we're saying that when this camel burns down that house, it's considered your eish, it's considered your fire. Now, why is it your fire? So number one, you were negligent because you loaded your animal in a way that the flax can catch fire. But now the means by which the fire now spreads, so to speak, the means by which now the fire gets to someone else's property to burn it. How is that happening, and how does that fit into the discussion that, you need a normal means of carrying it over, that you should be liable for it? Well, the answer is very simple. It was commonplace for the camels to walk through the public domain, and therefore, if now it comes out that you're considered lighting the fire because you were negligent in the way that you loaded up your camel, the camel now goes through the rishus harabim, which it normally does, which is equivalent of a normal wind carrying the fire, and therefore, when it goes and burns down the other house, you're going to be you, the owner of the camel, are going to be liable. But they also add in here from the commentary called Melecha Shloimeh, if the owner of the camel could have prevented it from burning the house, he too is responsible for the damage, and he and the shopkeeper each pay half. The fact that now, right, this thing is burning, okay? The fact that this thing is hold on one second. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Okay, I'm not in the wrong one. The first thing is right. The second part of Lech Shlem is on the next part of the Mishnah. Okay, but the idea of the Baal Gomel Chayev is he's Chayev because of the fact that now this thing, moved, the fire moved on in a normal way. Now the Mishnah continues. Hiniach chenveni neirim b'chutz. Let's say the story is that the chenveni, the storekeeper, put his candle outside. The first case was the candle was inside, the flax on the camel extended into the store and caught fire. Now we're talking about that the chenveni left his candle outside, which he wasn't supposed to do. That's not where candles belong. And now because of that, the flax caught fire. So who's liable now? A chenveni chayiv. The chenveni is liable because the fact that in a public domain you've got a lot of flax laden on the camel, that's not an issue in itself. That's not going to make any problems. But if now he put his candle outside, which he wasn't supposed to, and that's why he caught fire, so whose fire is it now? Who's responsible for the fire now? The person who put out his candle, he wasn't supposed to. And therefore, again, he's considered, it's his fire that he lit. The camel now goes its regular way of walking through the public domain, and it goes to the other house and burns it. You're liable for it. Here is where the Melech HaShloimeh says that if the owner, so again, this is the case where the storekeeper, meaning the owner of the candle, is obligated. But in this very same case, if the owner of the camel could have prevented it from burning the house, meaning the owner of the camel saw there was a fire there burning on his camel, if he could have stopped it and he didn't, he too is responsible for the damage, and he and the shopkeeper each pay half. So it's not like, he put out the candle out there, it's his negligence, it's all on him. It's not all on him, it's on your animal. Yeah. And if it's your animal, you need to be watching your animal also. Yeah. And make sure it doesn't cause the fire. If you couldn't have prevented it, okay, then you're exempt. But if you could have, so now both you and the person who owned the candle are now going to be liable. Each has to pay half for the damage. Then the Mishnah continues. Mishnah concludes. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says, "B'ner Chanukah pater." If the case is that the shopkeeper's candle was outside because it was Chanukah, right? And he was doing the mitzvah of Chanukah candles, which are meant to be done outside, meant to be out in the public area. Then Rabbi Yehuda says, if then the whole story is he put his candle outside, his Chanukah menorah was outside, and that's what caused the flax to catch fire, and then it burned down a house. Says Rabbi Yehuda, because you had permission to put it out there, not only you got permission to put it out there, it's a mitzvah to put it out there, you are therefore no more responsible for that candle. Now, let's point out, it says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'ner Chanukah pater. Rabbi Yehuda says, you're exempt by the Chanukah candle. That implies that the Tanna Kamma, the first opinion, does not agree. That when he said that if you put the candle outside, you're going to be responsible for the candle you put outside. That's in all situations. And the explanation to that is that according to the Tanna Kamma, it's very true that you're supposed to put the candle out there in order to fulfill the mitzvah of Chanukah licht properly. Nonetheless, you are still obligated to watch over the lamp and to make sure that it causes no harm. And therefore, and if it did cause harm, you're going to be obligated. The Bartanura says the halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda. According to that, which would mean that even by a Chanukah candle put out there, you would be obligated. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.